Welcome back to the Docker tutorial video that I'm making with you guys. And in the last video, we've just created this very basic Docker file and this very basic Docker Compose file. And while this is not the end of the story with Docker, why would you just use Docker to simulate your Python environment? You can do much, much better things. So for instance, let's assume you want to try out like Postgres. There we go. And like you can do that by just saying I add a Postgres service here and I say image Postgres, and I've already opened the Docker Hub site for it here. So we can check out which version of Postgres we want to try out. I'm just gonna say I want to try out 9.6 because I haven't tried out 9.6. Oh, that was 9.6. That's not the end of the story, although we need to take a look at the documentation provided here, and it will probably tell us how to start it. It will expose a port 5432. That's the usual port, so we're gonna add like we did here with ports. We're gonna add it. That's 5432 is mapped to 5432. It's just available under this port. And we can set a Postgres password. I think we can set more than that. Well, there's even an example for Docker Compose. That's amazing. We can just set Postgres password. Is that it? No, there we go. Postgres password, Postgres user, the PG data directory, which is defaulting to this one. We will need that also. I will tell you why. PostgreSDB as well, that's the name of the database. I usually specify all, well, at least the three of them. To specify then, you write environment, and I think it's like this. Let me double check. It was a little example here. Yeah, it's not. And apparently it's like this. I usually specify some names here that are application specific. In this case, it's a ticketing app, so I don't know, tickets, tickets. Okay. Also, something that's not quite listed here, we want to add a volume. Let me double check the. There we go. PG data is an optional environment variable, but it can be used to define a location where we want to have the PostgreSQL data directory. However, if the data volume you're using is a file system mount point, the initdb command recommends a subdirectory to be created within that. Okay. The main thing is we need to make this a file system mount, but it's not saying in here really in an example, I believe. Oh, actually, there it is. Docker volume create PG data. Then we can say docker run -v PG data, and PG data is mounted to this directory. So what is recommended if you want to keep your data? Like a Docker container usually is like if you stop it, the data might be gone because it's cleared. But if you want to keep your data, you need to put them into a volume. So we're gonna define volumes, same as we did up here. But instead of mounting a /app directory, we're gonna just say PG data here, which is not defined yet, don't get me wrong. So this is not here yet. We need to write it here, volumes and PG data. And with that, we have a Postgres volume. This is where our Postgres data is going to be stored. This means if I spool up this container, it will mount a volume, which is defined here. This volume is not technically mounted to my hard disk, to my physical hard disk, but it is somewhere within the Docker environment. So that's enough for the data to be stored. Okay, let's just try to up this container. We don't need to build it because the Docker file from the last video is still in place. I haven't changed it. And the Postgres image is an image that we're using. We can download it, which you should see is happening now. well, I've already downloaded the Postgres image apparently, probably from a different project. What you're seeing now is the Postgres database is initializing. I'm pointing this out because we will see once this is initialized and I kill this container and start it again, it will not need to initialize. There we go, init process complete, ready to start up. This database is already available to us if you want to try and add it here, and like any database access tool, I'm using PyCharm's built-in tool here. You can connect to it by specifying a name. Obviously it's not gonna be on localhost, it's gonna be on 0000, and the database is gonna be tickets, the user is gonna be tickets, and the password is gonna be tickets, and apparently a missing driver file. So let's just download them. Thank you. I'm gonna test the connection and it's successful, so I can apply. Okay, and come on, I want a database. We have database. Good. There's nothing in that database yet. This is our next step. We want to populate the Django application in there. So I want to edit the settings file that I have here. And in that settings file, I have the database engine here. So I don't know out of my brain how to do this. So I'm just going to be Django Postgres. Because it's usually going to be like there, Django contra Postgres. Oh no, that's the contribution. No. I don't know. I'm just gonna take the first tutorial and I hope they have the right settings file in here. This is the thing we have right now, and this is the thing we want. I believe this has changed, but we are still in Django 1.8 on this application. We shouldn't be, I know, but for the purpose of this video, I just took any application. So this is gonna be tickets, this is tickets, password is tickets, host is 0000, and port is 5432. Behold, this is I made a mistake here. I'm like, don't get scared. Don't get scared. This is wrong. I will tell you why in a minute. But before we fix this with here this host name here, let's just see how we fail. I'm just gonna do docker compose not exec run minus rm python manage py migrate, and it should fail, telling us that we don't have the Postgres module installed. Oh, that is a no-brainer. Sorry. We need to install that. So pip install psycho pg2. That was not the one why we are not able to do this. There we go. We've got it installed, but it will fail because it will not find the module again. Oh God, for fuck's sake. What is going on? We did just install Psycho PGE. Oh, I know what's going on. That was my mistake. I need to rebuild my Docker container because we do now have a new requirement that I need to add. So Psycho PG2, I need to add it into my requirements txt, and I will have to say docker compose build. That's good. We learn from our mistakes. This is one of the disadvantages of using Docker. If you add a requirement like this, you will have to rebuild your container. There is better Docker containers out there that don't require you to rebuild it, because you could just save your dependencies in terms of your Python side packages or virtual environment in a volume. But this is beyond the scope of this video. For now, I'm just showing you the normal things. So, is the container up yet? Yeah. Okay. We want to do migrate. There we go. Connection refused. Is the server running on host 0000 and accepting TCP/IP connections on port 5432? The answer to that is yes and no. For the outside, for a host, it is 0000 5432. For The inside being within the Python container, it is not. I'm gonna demonstrate it by just executing a bash command within that container. Now, obviously, you could do this. You will get a result. But this is basically the first best thing that your container will find, and this is gonna be localhost. However, Postgres is not on localhost. Postgres is in a second container called Postgres. Now, the nice thing about Docker is this is conveniently named Postgres as a host. So I can say ping Postgres and I get a reply from the Postgres host. Similarly, I could say ping Python and I get a reply from my localhost. They do have different IP addresses. They're distributed with some mechanism, DHCP or something. Don't rely on the IP, rely on the host name. So Postgres is the right host name. And what we need to do is we need to change this host here from 0000 to Postgres. Now, this settings file will only work within the Docker container. It didn't reload here, although, okay. So if I migrate now, we should get successful migration. There we go. I can create a super user and super user, and we should now see tables populated in here. Oh, there we go. We got 13 tables, and we should see the super user. There is my super user. I just close this. This thingy here hasn't reloaded, I guess. I'm just gonna try to access it, but I believe we will not be able to access the site. Yeah, it's a server error. Oh, we've got a different problem here as well. Our host is not allowed. Yeah, I believe I should use this. There we go. This could actually work. Ooh, it works. I can create tickets and assign it to me. And I should see the ticket in the ticket app. There it is. Okay, that's it. We've just added Postgres and it is working. Now, let's assume you decide for whatever reason Postgres 9.6 is the wrong version because, I don't know, you want a newer version of Postgres because new features, better performance, security issues, your boss told you to do that for whatever reason. And we can take a look, oh, 10.3 is out there. So we could just say Postgres 10.3 at this point. We can Control C in our current Docker Compose. We should wait for it to gracefully shut down, by the way. You can Control C it to force shut down it, but that will just lead it to some weird database errors. Anyway, you're seeing it's pulling Postgres 10.3 now, which is because I haven't got Postgres 10.3 in my Docker cache on my local file system. That's okay. It should be done any minute. And then it will spool up another instance of Postgres with version 10.3. It should migrate or it should like take the existing tables because Postgres has mechanisms in place to do that. And just by saying that, we don't. Database files are incompatible with server. The data directory was initialized to the root, which is not compatible with that version. Okay, so that just did not turn out great. I thought it would automatically convert them, but I was apparently wrong. But okay, this is your local development environment, right? So we could just kill that volume. But how do you do that? Some of you might have some Docker experience. They're gonna like yell out Docker compose down. Yeah, in theory. However, if I just do Docker compose down, it will remove these two containers and my network, but it doesn't say anything about the volume. And this is where you should be cautious. This is where you need to be cautious because you need to say, like, I want to delete this volume. And this is working by saying -v, and then it removes your volume. And if we up it now, it should work. It's reinitializing our database. Yeah, so like it didn't convert it, but it's our development instance, and for development instance, that's fine, I guess. We can like migrate again, create super users. Maybe you even have a backup that you can just install. It's yeah. That's one of the nice things about using Docker. You can quite seamlessly switch between different versions of your requirements of your third-party software providers you have, like Postgres, Redis, MySQL, MariaDB, whatever service you need, there is most likely a Docker image. Go to dockerhub.com and literally just search for it. So if you search for Redis, you will find the official Redis image. Be careful, although some of those images might not be the official image. You can spot them usually by the URL. If it's a short URL like this usually means it's an official image. So yeah. Other than that, that's it for today's video, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to create a new model within that whole setup and how to make sure that the file permissions are properly set. Stay tuned for the next part of this video.